If you're obsessed with French Bulldogs, this one's for you. Go grab your kit and we're gonna make this French Bulldog together.
Hi friends, my name is Alyson and I'm the artist behind Little Felted Friends. All right, next up in our 5-part series for needle felting kits for beginners is the French Bulldog. Not to play favorites, but this one has a lot of personality. All right, let's open it up.
Inside our French Bulldog kit, you'll find the instruction booklet, a little bit about the puppy we're going to be making, which is Apollo. There's some templates in there too to follow along. Our needles, one fine, one coarse, felting mat, wool, finger protectors, one on the thumb, one on the forefinger, our leg stems, our eyeballs, and the cute little heart to put inside. Let's go make them! I start by grabbing a small weft of wool. I kind of form it into a little ball already, and then I just start poking away. You want to pull it up and down. I compare the weft to my template over here. I'm adding the eyes here and the little eyelids that go above. So here we're just going to poke a hole all the way through using your needle. And you don't have to use super glue for this, but you can if you want. I do just for a little extra security in the eyes, but we're gonna felt those little eyelids over and that will actually hold the eye in place, but this is just a little extra security here. Now that we've made the inner core of the head, we are going to start building out the features. So here we're going to make the lips, and we're going to attach 2 of these little flaps. They're half semicircle. I turn it over, I leave one edge frayed, and that's going to act as our glue. Back to what I mentioned before, these are going to be our eyelids. I'm just making 4 small little rectangular shaped strips. I'm felting them on our mat, and now I'm attaching them over the eyes. You want them to completely cover the eye, and then we'll take our needle and detail the eye so it pops. I'm taking small extra bits of my gray wool and going over the eyes just to smooth everything out. These little bits will act as a little bit of a glue, and it also evens everything and blends it together. Now we're going to make the ears. I put my finger protectors on just so I don't get my fingers, because we are going to be holding it with the index finger. So I've made both ears, and now we're going to use our pink and our gray to blend a pink. And we're doing this and not just using the straight pink so it looks more natural. So I'm kind of like peeling it together. This is called mixing colors. I'll lay it on top and then I'll felt it in. Now we're going to attach the ears. I'm going to take the head that we already formed and the 2 ears, line them up. I'll kind of put them where I think they should go and then turn it around and then felt it into place where I know they want to go. Okay, we get to grab another color. We're going to reach for our black and roll it into a teeny tiny ball. This is going to be our nose. And as you can see, I've already added a couple more wefts of wool just to smooth out the seams where I attach the ears. So I put on the nose, and then I'm going to grab my wool to make our body. And you can kind of grab a bigger chunk this time because the body is the mass of the dog. And we're going to take our little tiny felted heart, put it in the inside. I like to put a little more wool on top just so you don't see it poking through. I think it's super cute that there's a heart in every one, but not everybody will see it, but at least you know it's there. And then I'll just start felting away, pull it up and down. You always want to pull straight up and poke straight down. You never want to bend it while it's inside the wool. So here I'm just making a little extra shapes so I can attach the neck, and I want to smooth everything out. You can think of your body as the skeleton, the core, and then the extra wefts of wool evens everything out and gets the look exactly how you want your dog to be. Next up are the little hips. We're going to make 2 of these teardrop shaped forms of wool. I like to make both and then I'm going to attach them on after. This is just so I can compare how the legs will look on the dog and the angle I want it to sit. So I'm just spreading the frayed wool out so that will be our glue. And then I'm going to grab a little bit more gray wool just so I can build up the back and blend out those leg seams. Here's where you might think it's going to get a little tricky, but I promise I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to make both front legs, and these leg forms are bendable pipe cleaners, and I promise you can't mess this up. So we're going to grab 2 long strips of our gray wool. I personally like to cut out the center portion of the fuzz just so it doesn't poke through in our final design and it looks a little more clean. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to grab my gray wool and I'm going to lay it on top of the pipe cleaner where we just cut it out. I'm going to fold the pipe cleaner back and then start twisting, and then you'll notice a little paw at the end. So we're going to take our needle, our coarser needle, and poke the end all the way through. And then I'm going to pull it up, poke it back down the frayed edges, and now we're going to twist the wool onto the pipe cleaner. And it does stay attached very well because we're going to take our needle and we're going to glue it together essentially. But thankfully we don't need glue. We just use our needles and we poke away so it mats the fibers together and holds everything in place. That's what I love about felting, is that you don't need water. It's very travel friendly. So here I'm just gonna lay the legs and bend them to how I want them. We kind of take the gray strands of fiber and poke it in, and then you'll see a little extra pipe cleaner poking out on top. You can just grab your scissors and cut that off, or you can felt over it. So the scissors are not necessary, but they are helpful to have. Here I'm just grabbing my extra wool like we did before. This is a little bit of a tricky area, so I am going to put my finger protectors back on. You'll get to a point where you feel you don't need the finger protectors, but I do always recommend them. I've grabbed some more of our gray wool and I made a little oval shape and I stretched it out, and I'm laying it on top of the leg forms that we just made and attached. This is going to build out the chest and make the dog look almost lifelike. Now we're getting close to the end. These are going to be the 2 hind legs. I'm going to make 2 little teardrop shapes. We know that shape from before from the hips, and this is going to follow through. You'll see me kind of rolling the wool between my fingers, and this almost mats down the shape and it makes it a little more solid. It also smooths out the edges. I'm leaving one end frayed, and that frayed end is where we're going to be attaching it to the hips that we already made. So you can think teardrop to teardrop. And we're making 2 of them. I like to make these 2 first, and then we'll go ahead and attach it. Some Frenchies have tails and some don't. We're gonna make a little tiny nub of a tail for our Frenchie, so I'm actually gonna do that now, and then we're gonna attach the 2 little teardrop legs after, because this will center your Frenchie and you'll know exactly where to place the 2 little legs. Okay, here we go. We're adding the legs. We are so close to the finish line. You almost did it. We're just gonna tuck those little frayed ends. I'm using my finer needle here just because it's a smaller area. You can play around with what needle you prefer. I find that in the bigger areas, I like the coarse needle, and the smaller areas, I like the fine needle. So now we're just gonna balance out the back and the tail and the legs, blend it all together, add a little bit more wool where you think it needs. This is all about your creativity and how you see it coming together. Now here I saw that a little bit of the pipe cleaner was showing through on the paws that I made. So to troubleshoot that, I added a little bit more wool on top of the little paws. And here it is, Apollo the Frenchie. It turned out so cute. And next up in our needle felting kits for beginners, we're trading wrinkles for tiny attitude. Meet the Chihuahua kit.